Hey everybody, coming at you guys with another episode of Star Wars Discussions, and got a couple of topics this evening. Biggest being, biggest from your point of view, being the Last Jedi teaser trailer. I gotta be honest, I didn't like it that much. I just found it really lacking in any kind of depth. I know it's a teaser or whatever, but like, there's nothing there. Or just give my honest opinion. Nothing there. There's nothing to grasp. It's a bunch of Rey doing her overpowered crap because she can do everything by herself without any kind of training, I guess. I don't know. She's just there, man. She just doesn't do anything. Characters like Luke had to go through changes over the course of 3 films. This chick has defeated the main villain on the first day picking up a lightsaber. As much as I enjoy The Force Awakens, that's a problem in the long run because what's she gonna do now? What is she gonna do? It's different now. She already beat the villain. She's got a lightsaber. She's got a lightsaber. She beat the villain. What is there for her to do now? Is my question. Like, she doesn't have a character arc in episode 7 when you really think about it. When you really sit down and think about it, does she actually have a character arc? No. Basically, it's basically flawless. The whole film. Entire film, she's flawless. At least Kylo Ren goes through something of a struggle, like struggling with the light side and all that. Rey's a pilot right out of nowhere. She got memories buried in her subconscious from whatever happened in the past. She knows how to fly a falcon somehow. I never even thought about that until recently. Yeah, how does she know how to fly a falcon? She claims she's a pilot, but like, not any pilot can fly the Millennium Falcon. I'm sure she almost crashed it like a couple times, but like, yeah, it's kind of weird. I mean, unless she really was originally Han and Leia's kid, I don't understand how she can fly his ship. Like it's a regular X-Wing or something. I don't know. The trailer was kind of lame, I thought. Didn't give me anything I was looking for. It's really a little too similar to the Force Awakens trailer, the first one, from back, 2014 that trailer came out? Because the movie was 2015 or whatever. Like the first shot of this trailer is Rey on some kind of mountaintop in that island, breathing heavily, just like Finn in the Force Awakens trailer, first teaser, whatever you want to call it, when he pops up on screen in his stormtrooper gear. It's the same exact tone. So it's like, what are they doing here? And like, got some stupid sand speeders and whatever. Like, what is this? Another ground battle that's going to take place on a planet where a rebel base is established. Gee, that sounds familiar. They have no creativity. None. None. Don't believe me, listen to this clip I'm gonna give you. Another guy that doesn't like the trailer at all. This is a guy named Jeff from World Class Bullshitters. And he doesn't like the trailer either, so listen to this.
Man, Doctor Strange, all those things, those are great. Those are a fun time. I miss having that kind of excitement and those towards the feeling, kind of feelings towards Star Wars. it's not that I got old. It's not that I became cynical or jaded. It's just the fact that Star Wars got lazy and people got dumber. And now, if you're one of the people that's excited and you're offended that I'm calling you dumb, you should be. Because if you're a real Star Wars fan, you're going to understand the similarities and the stupidity between these new ones and the classics. And if you can't, then this isn't the video for you, and these movies are for you. They are targeted towards idiots that have never sat down and watched an old movie because it's old, because it's irrelevant to them. Oh, it doesn't have this and that. Let me tell you something. Pick a movie you fucking like. It's probably something stupid like The Hunger Games. Now hold that up to Star Wars. In 50 years, people will still be, people will still call it Star Wars in 50 years. Now, I don't like the Disney ones, but most people are dumb and most people do, so it'll stick around. The point is, though, Star Wars is forever. Hunger Games is a fleeting little thing, but it's the original Star Wars that's the big one. Everyone loves to talk about this and that, but it's the original one that changed the world. It changed the way movies are made, the way they're marketed. It changed the action figure scale. It changed all kinds of things. That's the big one. And that's why it's stuck around, because it's so great and so relevant. But I just don't know why they don't remarket it like they did in the 90s. You know, I was born at the end of the 80s. I grew up as a small kid in the 90s, and they re-released Star Wars. They made a few cosmetic changes. I fell in love with that Star Wars. Original special edition, it's still relatively the same movie. My point is, instead of remaking these movies, they need to just resell you those and make something new and crazy, possibly even better. It's possible to make better movies, but they're too lazy and they're too dependent upon. Here's what they're dependent upon: the old guys whose lives are kind of shitty, and they look back and think of Star Wars as the greatest time in their lives. So they're on this nostalgia kick, and they have the spending money, so they're going to take their fucking kids and their wives that don't really want to go, and all this other unfulfilling shit in their lives is going to be replaced by this new Star Wars product. And they're going to love it no matter what. Even if it's shitty, even in their heart, if they know that it's bad, they're going to be praising it and very thankful that it exists. So they got those people. Then they got the people that aren't even into Star Wars. They're just going to do the next popular thing because it's the next popular thing. That's your big audience, but that's the worst audience, because if you notice nowadays, we don't have anything that sticks around. We don't have anything that's relevant for a long period of time. No, it's everything that comes out is based off something that came out of the past when people were better. Dependence on technology and certain things like that has made the attention span so short, because if you don't like something, there's literally a million other options at the click of your fucking finger. So that helps and hurts a lot of things. It helps that the spread of information is readily available. I mean, if I need to know something, I can just look it up and it's right there in the palm of my hand. But at the same time, you don't appreciate anything or respect anything. Everything is here 1 minute, gone the next. It doesn't matter if there's something else to replace it. I think if you're of a certain age, like towards the end of your 20s and up, you remember a time period where you stuck with something and you learned to appreciate it and respect it and to love it. And I don't think we're ever going to have anything like that. As technology moves quicker and quicker, we're going to have less and less respect for whatever comes. So that all comes back around full circle to this new Star Wars trailer, which I will now discuss in greater detail. So the trailer starts with Rey on the rocky, not dead of a planet. There's a voiceover of Luke saying breathe, breathe, and all that other shit, which, like I said earlier, I'm happy that Luke's doing what Luke's doing. It makes sense. It's logical. Now, I am worried that this whole movie is going to be about her. She's not interesting. Like, if you want to hear what I think about Rey, listen to my episode 7 review. She is probably the worst Star Wars character, up there with Jar Jar Binks, and that's not hyperbole. Really look at her. Don't look at how cool you think she is. Actually look at what she does and how she achieves those things. She doesn't actually achieve anything. It's all just given to her by writing conveniences and plot contrivances. Back in the trailer, we see Princess Leia, R.I.P. Carrie Fisher, cocaine, whatever. We see Kylo Ren's mask. I guess he's going to stop being a cuck. Because here's one thing that a lot of people... remember when I was talking about that audience, the general audience that doesn't really care about Star Wars and they're just going to go see because it's popular? I got to give some people in my family credit. Because my cousin, the one thing she says when she's like 20 years old, she goes, I saw that Star Wars movie, I didn't like it because the bad guy was bitch made. Now, I don't really, know what that means, so I looked it up. My point is, for Kate Belloc and the Nazis and get the arc of it. The thing is, these great movies aren't too far away, weren't so far ago, 1989, I know some teenagers like, oh, the 80s were forever ago. 1989, I was 6 weeks old or some shit in that year. My point is, I fought with a lightsaber, a weapon I've never touched, and I beat the bad guy. And I only got away because the planet cracked in half. And don't give me that excuse about Chewbacca shooting the guy either. That's some horse shit. When he was fighting Finn, there was no problem with him holding his own. Finn was a trained fighter. Rey was a scavenger on a planet. She defended for herself. Not the fucking same, all right? MacGyver could, make anything out of a toothpick and a piece of bubble gum. But if you put him up against Rambo, Rambo's going to push his shit in because Rambo is a trained killer and survivalist. So those skills aren't skills that Rey has against Kylo Ren. Like Luke, if Luke would have fought Darth Vader on the Death Star, Luke would have been killed instantly. Why? Because George Lucas is a better writer than people give him credit for. Darth Vader is an imposing villain. He's not some bitch made, according to my 20-year-old cousin, character who whines and postures and complains. It's funny. Kylo Ren is basically a mirror image of you, the people that love Episode 7. You bitch and you whine and you get on the internet. If you don't get your way, you throw a tantrum, you throw your phones, and you do all this dumb shit, and you don't handle things responsibly like an adult. And you get villains like that. And the funny thing is you get behind those characters and think they're evil, but at the same time you need to look in the mirror because you are that villain. You are the evil one. You're not, a good, virtuous Luke Skywalker character. And the funny thing is, no one's the virtuous Rey because no one's that fucking perfect, all right? She needs to lose a body part in this movie. She needs to be beaten, destroyed. Something needs to happen to her to bring her down a peg, all right? If she continues on this trajectory where she's untouchable, you're going to have a problem. Because one thing I do like about you, the listener, people, time makes you rational. You get so excited over the newest thing, but over time you begin to realize that, it was the hype of the moment. It was great. She wasn't as hot as I thought she was, but I still slept with her. That kind of stuff. You go through these moments in life where you don't think you just do. But then through, the looking glass of time, you realize, that wasn't the right thing to do. I shouldn't have slept with her. I shouldn't have done said thing, And I think, hopefully, I'm being hopeful now, that throughout time, you will realize that these movies are cheaply, I'm not going to say cheaply, excuse me, there's a lot of money involved. They're poorly made films to get your dollars as quick as possible. They have no relevancy outside of their 6-month window in the theaters. Star Wars maybe came out in 77 when the home video market was non-existent, but goddamn it was released so many fucking times. People went to see it back to back to back, and it resonated. Movies today are disposable. Some of the Marvel ones are not as disposable, like the first Avengers is a landmark moment. I guess even Avatar, which is the highest grossing movie of all time, is disposable. It's not, good. It was flashy 3D technology, and you went and you bought into that. But Star Wars, what I'm trying to say is, if anything at all, is I'm hoping that through the lens of time, you people will understand that these movies aren't as good as you think. Stop feeling and using some logic instead, and you will understand that, this guy on the internet that I'm going to thumbs down his video and call a bitch actually wasn't wrong the whole time. That was probably my last aside. We're going to talk about the trailer for a few more moments, and then I'm going to close this video out. So Finn is in some kind of stasis chamber. What I'm taking away from this trailer is it takes place right after Episode 7, which is weird for a Star Wars movie. Mostly sequels take place over or after a certain period of time. For example, I think Empire and Jedi is 1 year apart, or A New Hope and Empire is 3 years apart. So there's all kinds of great things that happen between the movies. But this looks kind of like the next day, because whatever. Halloween was the perfect example of how to do this right, where it takes place literally seconds after the original film ends and it's a continuation. There's only one problem. Halloween was a fantastic film. Episode 7 wasn't, and I don't want a continuation of that. If anything, I want an apology. I would like a fucking 5-minute scene of Mickey Mouse coming out with a lightsaber Jedi robe and going, "Oh, I'm so sorry, the movie sucked ass. And this is what we're going to do to make it better." But that didn't happen. Anyway, Poe Dameron and BB-8 are back because, you need to sell fucking toys. So, hey, BB-8. I didn't really like Poe Dameron, by the way. I thought he was kind of weak. Kind of lame, too. He just disappears. How does he survive that crash? And the part that pisses me off is when he meets Finn. He's like, "Hey, you're not whatever, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to give you a name. We're good friends. Do I talk first? Do you talk first?"
Yeah. So, I think I've made his point, I think. Point is, trailer's not good. It's just continuing to feed this stupid agenda where I don't know. It's like people don't write good characters anymore. It's just I don't even know. I don't know anymore. And honestly, I'm out of energy at this point. This has left me so drained. Like they're just gonna keep recycling the same crap. I mean, the trailer was just. I found it disappointing. Other people are praising the crap out of it, but it's just Empire Strikes Back 2.0. And I guess tell you this, it's not going to be as good as Empire Strikes Back. I already seen Empire Strikes Back. I watched it since I was a freaking kid. The movie's amazing, right? My favorite one's probably New Hope because it's the original. I got a thing for original films like the original Spider-Man, original Star Wars, original Batman, stuff like that. I mean, you can make the argument that Return of the Jedi is kind of weaker compared to Empire and New Hope, but at least Return of the Jedi isn't, well, it's kind of a rehash of 4, but it still adds new things, you know? Speed bike chase and, stuff like that. Sarlacc pit, Luke going to Jabba's palace, because by that point, Luke actually has, what is it, a character arc? Yeah, he has a character arc. From farm boy to reluctant hero to Jedi Knight in the third film, not the first movie. That's what these idiots at Disney don't get with this Ray chick. Like, she really is kind of too perfect, man. I mean, like, the more I think about it, the less I like her because there's nothing to her. My theory is that she's like Darth Revan. No disrespect to Darth Revan because Darth Revan's awesome. I mean, like, Knights of the Republic is probably my favorite Star Wars game, even to this day, despite how old it is. It's from the Commander Universe. But, like, my personal theory is that she's like Darth Revan and had her memories taken from her. It might explain how powerful she is, because as she remembers stuff, she remembers her true power or whatever. But, like, I don't know, man. They need to explain a lot of stuff about this kid. They need to explain what happened to all Luke's Jedi, because Return of the Jedi means nothing now, because the whole point of that movie, outside of Anakin's redemption, was Luke restarting the Jedi Order. New generation of Jedi, training them and all that stuff like it did in the EU, before Mickey Mouse took over and destroyed everything. When I listened to some of them audio tapes, Legacy of the Force, I mean, like, that Legacy of the Force audiobook is better than both these movies that have come out in the past year. You know why? Because it actually develops things that have been established. It doesn't hit the reset button like Force Awakens does. They do the same damn plot again. From everything from the Millennium Falcon blasting off a sand planet to the freaking Death Star again. Because we haven't seen that crap before, right? They're just playing it safe because they're so scared of the prequel haters, and they're scared to actually take a chance with this franchise that they now own. That's worth billions. See how much Lucas paid to get rid of it, essentially. You think they'd be willing to take a chance, but I'll tell you this: they'll never do an Old Republic film because the next 5 movies are set between 3 and 4. They can't get past the original trilogy era because they're scared. They're scared that people will reject them the way Lewis was rejected with the prequels. And I'll tell you this, man, the prequels might be looked down upon with fans, but at least the prequels weren't doing the same exact damn thing that Mickey Mouse is going to be doing from now until the day the Earth blows up. I'm just saying, man. Just something I observe the more I look at these movies objectively, not just as a fan, but as a critic and as someone that likes good storytelling. These days, it's too easy to just turn the other cheek, I guess, and just be like, oh, it's Star Wars, I'm going to watch it. Like, no. Look at it from a different point of view, and you'll see that Disney is clearly too afraid to take an actual chance with this property. Like the next 5 movies they've announced or whatever are in between 3 and 4. Like the Han Solo, whatever, that I'm never gonna watch because whoever that kid is not Han Solo. I will never watch that movie. Rumors of this of stupid bounty hunter film. Like sounds stupid. No one will never watch. I don't know. Personally, I'm out of energy talking about this trailer, so I'm just gonna move on to my next topic, which is there's a rumor on the street that the Knights of the Republic game from back in the day is or might get a reboot or a remaster. It's a rumor as of now, but like on my personal thoughts, I think they should leave that alone. I mean, just because it's such a good classic game, if you have to do anything, remaster like Skyrim. Skyrim is so much better now with the mods and the graphics update. As it's still the same game, just like it's updated, you know. Like don't reboot Knights of the Republic. There's nothing wrong with it. Remaster it, touch it up with the graphics. You know, update the combat, make it a little bit more free roam-esque, give us more planets to explore. Because I found the second one especially lacking in exploring planets because the story was so short. By the time you recruit everybody, the game's over and you're already going to Malachor 5 to confront Darth Sion and then Darth Traya. The game was so short. That the second one especially short. I heard it was like a strike or something. Something happened back in the day that affected that game. Like the first one, remaster it if you have to. But like, yeah, I don't want any Disney-fied Star Wars games. Battlefront was a good example of what I don't want to happen from now on with Star Wars games and other material because let's face it, everything Disney touches turns to dust. The exact opposite of Goldfinger. Because personally, the more I think about it, the less I like Force Awakens, at least parts of it. I enjoyed the whole movie up until the Death Star thing again because that was just ridiculous. But yeah, if you have to do anything with Old Republic, remaster it. Keep the same story, please. Like, I don't care. I don't care about what's history or whatever according to Mickey Mouse. I care less. Yeah, I'd love to see Bachelor Sean remastered and all that, rather than Malik. Like, I still want that live action TV series. And if the rumors about Star Wars taking a break from films and going to TV are true, that's what I want them to focus on. But I'll tell you this right now, they're not going to deal with Republic. They can't get past the original trilogy era because they're scared. Businesses are all about taking chances. That's how you make your profits. Every movie is a chance. You market it, you get your trailers out there, and people respond. People give good responses for Force Awakens for the most part. But a couple months later, people are starting to wake up from this little mind trick that Mickey Mouse put over people. And it's like, People are waking up from their little sleep and realizing that, like Jeff said in the video clip I just showed, the audio clip I just showed. These movies, especially Rogue Zero, which is not a popular opinion, but I didn't really like that movie at all. I thought it was a terrible film. It's an okay movie. A Star Wars film, it failed on like every level. But like these movies really aren't that well made. Outside of the money, of course, it's the same thing, man. Watch episode 4 and then watch 7. It's the same damn story. There's nothing new. And I was really starting to not understand why Rogue Zero was so popular with people. I'll tell you, I never watched the movie again. Never again. It was a waste of time, waste of money. It feels like I'm waking up from a bad dream sometimes. It's because it was so freaking bad. But yeah. So maybe that's part of the reason why I'm not crazy about this teaser, because Rogue Zero left such a bad taste in my mouth. Just because it was so boring. And this movie looks really boring from this teaser. Like, there's nothing there, man. There's nothing but a bunch of random shots of Rey, and they're overpowered behind because she can't. Because you gotta write chicks to be like invincible now instead of having flaws. That's how you relate to. That's how you relate to people in movies. They have flaws. Luke Skywalker had flaws. Anakin Skywalker had flaws. Princess Leia had flaws. She wasn't perfect. This Rey chick can do everything like it's nothing. Like, she has no training with a lightsaber, but she can beat up a dark Jedi. She claims she's a pilot. She could fly the Falcon like it's nothing, like she's flown it before. She said, "Oh no, the ship has flown years." Well, you're doing a pretty good job. And that's actually one of the scenes I actually enjoy about the film, but like, still, some things just really don't add up when you really think about it. Initially, I was excited for J.J. Abrams directing this film because I thought he did a good job with the Star Trek movies, the new ones. But now that I've seen Force Awakens, like, this guy claimed to be such a big fan that he just wanted to make that obvious in the film instead of actually going his own way and telling a unique story. It's like Brian Siegel's Superman Returns. That movie stunk because he was trying too hard to make it like the original movies that were made 30 years ago. 30 years ago. Like, Chris Reeve is no longer around. Sorry, guys. You gotta move on and do your own Superman. Same thing with Star Wars. There's no reason why Mickey Mouse should be making the same story George Lucas made 40 years ago. There's no reason for it. Same thing with this teaser. It's always they're trying to do Empire Strikes Back again. And I'm sorry, but like, lightning doesn't strike the same place twice. Only strikes the same place once. Only strikes in the place once. It doesn't happen more than once. That's a movie that's made once in a lifetime. It doesn't happen twice. Same thing with characters like Han Solo. It's a character that you can't do. It's an original character that you can't replicate with a different actor and expect the same performance. You can't. It can't be done. It's never been done. It's like saying the guy that played Bilbo in the Hobbit films is exactly like the guy that plays him in the original Lord of the Rings trilogy. Two different actors. It's not going to be the same thing. Of course, it helps if you don't go in expecting that. But my point is that I think Disney's just digging themselves an early grave, man. And the people that enjoy these films are just going to line up because of Star Wars. I feel bad for you because after episode 8, I'm done with these new Star Wars films. I'm done. I'm just going to stick with the old school books, my Old Republic games, Force Unleashed, the Darth Vader comics that are coming out. I have my Clone Wars collection. I got the movies I'm only going to watch, the prequels, 4, 5, 6. That's all I need for Star Wars, man. I don't need any new material. Like to some people, these new movies are just an alternate universe. And that's all it's going to be. Alternate universe. And they got another video clip to have you guys listen to. It's from the Council Force cast. It's a group of Star Wars nerds like myself. And they're going to talk about The Last Jedi a little bit. This is about the title reveal, so but it still make the same points. So here we go.
Back, given the scheduling now, even though this is many recordings down the line. So, without further ado, let's jump right into the analysis of this god-awful title. What are everyone's opinions on it?
Well,
No.
okay. I don't, hate it severely. I'm just really personally underwhelmed.
It's so... Well, the fact that it's basically lifted from an actual book called The Last Jedi, more Disney unoriginality going on, but it's a boring title.
Story
It's really boring.
Jay Cannon, remember, not Disney.
It's also once again taken from a line used by Snoke in Force Awakens.
Is it? I've missed that bit.
Yeah.
I've only ever seen the film once, and I have no intention of watching it.
Towards the beginning, it's towards the beginning when he's talking to Kylo Ren for the first time. He said, Matt leading us to the Last Jedi.
Oh, Joyce, that's
I've already forgotten Snoke.
Yeah, I've only seen the film once.
I don't like how damning the title seems in terms of whether or not there's any more Jedi other than Luke.
Yeah, that's the real disappointing part.
Yeah.
I like a red border. I like a red border personally. Kind of reminds me of
The big area where I guess canon has really failed is that the big allure of a sequel trilogy was basically seeing Luke Skywalker's Jedi Order. What does Luke do with the IP? How does he fix things? How does he do things better? Because, well, instead they basically completely undercut all of that and are instead just doing a remake of the original trilogy, and that's where this movie seems to be going. It's like, again, they're trying to give us a somewhat dark, foreboding title for a dark, foreboding movie that's just going to be Empire Strikes Back Mark II, Mark crap.
I mean, it could be intentionally misleading, and it could refer to other Jedi in the plural, like this is the last cluster of Jedi. But if it doesn't mean that, and I'm not optimistic that it does mean that, then to me it kills a lot of potential for me.
Yeah, people
I feel the same way.
Argument. I'm very doubtful. One, because I don't think that they would go that route after, like we said, they've mentioned he's the Last Jedi before now. And also the fact that if it was that, it would be the last of the Jedi rather than the last Jedi. It's just that's the way they would obviously go, and if they were thinking about it. But yeah, I'm still praying that it's going to be the case, but I'm highly doubtful. But the thing I want to address more than anything else, because outside of the whole setting and the route they've taken regarding the Jedi as a whole, for me, it's the fact that they've so obviously missed the thematic side. Like in this part of the whole saga, they should not be going for the Last Jedi. We've already had Return of the Jedi. We've now had The Force Awakens. Why are we suddenly going to The Last Jedi? We've had the whole Last Jedi story.
You're doing all this,
Yeah, it doesn't totally match.
Well,
what's 9 going to be called then after this?
The second coming of the Jedi.
Yeah, seriously, what?
It's just problematic.
Well, it's like, when you actually look at the titles of all of the Star Wars movies lined up in chronological order, it's like 1 through 6 makes sense. You got Phantom Menace establishing the threat, Attack of the Clones, things are escalating, Revenge of the Sith, bad guys win. New Hope, what it says on the tin, Empire Strikes Back, is the bad guys reacting to the New Hope, and then Return of the Jedi, which is the Jedi returning and the bad guys being beaten. But the sequel trilogy titles don't fit into that format. It's like they don't make sense within the context of what's going on in the story. It's like The Force Awakens is so vague and it doesn't really mean anything. And The Last Jedi completely undercuts Return of the Jedi. It's like,
Yeah, it's depressing. I mean, come on.
It would not surprise me. It really wouldn't, and I'm not saying they will, but it would not surprise me if Episode 9 is Revenge of the Jedi.
Which was originally what they were gonna do with Return.
I know, but that's what I'm talking about, with like the lack of originality thing. We'll just dust off that unused concept.
But would they really use Jedi twice?
Well, I mean, they already are. Last Jedi, Return of the Jedi.
No, I meant like in like.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, so good point. Yeah, fair enough.
Revenge of the Last Jedi and the Return of the Force. I mean, it's just going to be
Or
some
what if it's like
combination of
or Return of the Sith?
Oh Jesus.
Attack of the Sith.
Episode 9.
Yeah, I mean, let's get it out of the way right now, because I'm sure people will address it in the comments if we don't. Not all the other Star Wars films have good titles. Attack of the Clones standing out as one of the worst,
That's the worst
ideas ever.
Yeah, that's
Phantom-
still the worst title.
Yeah, some of my friends and I discussed it earlier. The Phantom Menace is fine. It's cheesy as all balls, but it functions as a title. Attack of the Clones is confusing and
It's relevant.
Yeah, it's relevant. It's just theatrically cheesy.
When you say Attack of the Blah, that's supposed to be the bad force.
Yeah.
And so that's the point on that. The title I don't have much of a problem with. It's the meaning of the title, like these guys said. It undercuts everything that happened before. Because it's to the point where these movies don't even feel like sequels. Just feel like, what you said, remakes. Remakes. That's all people do these days, remakes. Nothing is original anymore. I made this point the last Star Wars video I made with J.K. Rowling, what she's doing with her Harry Potter series. That she's doing this Fantastic Beasts. They're not really prequels, but they're like set in the past, so you could build a foundation in the past that eventually leads into the Harry Potter series that's been established. And that's what you have to do with a new series. You don't set something like Rogue Zero 5 minutes before the original trilogy, because you have to introduce all these stupid characters that have no depth whatsoever. You gotta develop them. None of them are really developed at all. I don't care about any of them. And then you're gonna kill them off in the same movie. So why would I care? But like, it's a whole thing, you know. Point is, George Lucas would have written his characters 10 times better. He wrote Han, Luke, and Leia, and Vader. All those characters he wrote because they're all his ideas. Because he's a creative person, and he's my main inspiration as a writer myself. I always look to George Lucas for inspiration, from his ideas and all that. That's why Star Wars means so much to me. One of the reasons, anyway. But like, these characters now are they're not relatable. They're not. I mean, can you tell me one thing about Rey that's relatable in real life? I mean, people like, oh, it's gotta be realistic. People are about their realism these days. What's realistic about Rey? What's relatable about Rey? Nothing. Like, you relate to Luke because he was a guy that wanted to go out on an adventure and get away from his home life. Like, who doesn't want to do that? As a teenager, most teenagers want to get away from their parents. It's the same thing. Like, he wanted to get away from the farm and go and fight for the rebellion. That's what he wanted to do. That was his dream. And what the hell is Rey's dream? For real. I mean, other than looking for a family or whatever, but like, I guess, but like, it's not really a dream. It's more something she wants to happen that is not going to happen according to the orange head lady who wants to be Yoda so badly. So like, yeah, there's no originality in any of these movies anymore. It's a shame because Star Wars are just. I was looking forward to these new movies initially, but then after Force Awakens and Rogue Zero, I don't have the energy for this anymore. So like, after 8, I'm done with these new movies. Like, I will not watch Han Solo. I will not watch Episode 9 or whatever they call it. I just stick with what I have. Like, if 8's good, then I'll watch 8 with the rest of these movies, but that's about it. I have no intention of watching anything else. I don't need some new guy trying to play Han Solo. The character's been established. There's nothing wrong with the character. Like, no thanks. I'll stick with the original trilogy. I can watch Empire Strikes Back all day and not complain about it. I could watch Empire all day and say, walk away saying it's the best movie I've ever seen in my damn life. And I'm ready to see some new kid trying to play that character and ruin it. Yeah, so Old Republic game, leave it alone or remaster it. Do not reboot it. Remaster it Skyrim style. Touch it up. And that'll be that. So I looked on StarWarsNews.net and apparently there's a new Vader comic series coming that's supposed to be set after episode 3. So maybe this will make up for his poor role in Rogue Zero, I thought. He was in there for like, what, 5 minutes? It's ridiculous. Like, I don't understand why you've got Darth Vader in this movie. This supposed standalone or whatever people call it. And we can't have him actually being a badass for more than one scene in the film. One scene isn't enough, people. It's not. Now when we look at the facts that James Earl Jones is not a young guy anymore. And how many more times are we going to see Vader on the big screen? Not many, I can guarantee, because I guarantee there's no one else going to be doing that voice. Unless they somehow find a way to digitize James Earl Jones or something. I don't know. But like, tell you one thing, he sounded pretty bad in Rogue Zero. And in a couple of years, people are going to notice it more and more. Especially when they watch this and then 4 back to back. Which I won't ever do because I hate Rogue Zero. But that's why I just ignore it, because as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't exist. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the Vader comic series. Well, the next Vader comic series. I'll just collect the trades when they come out. For me personally, it's cheaper and saves a lot of time than waiting week to week or month to month, which is more money out of your pocket when you really think about it, instead of just saving and just collecting the whole thing, which is what I do with comics now. I don't buy the regular paper issue. I just wait for the trades and go to Barnes & Noble and pick it up. It's that simple. And the last piece of news for this evening is Battlefront 2 teaser. Apparently leaked online before Star Wars Celebration. And looks okay. They finally got Force Awakens material and Clone Wars. Things I've been talking about that I wanted in the first game or the last game. I don't understand why they couldn't just do that from the beginning. Just feels like they're just, hey, everybody, we're giving you what you want. They're going to buy our game now? Like, no, I'm not. Thanks for asking, though, but no, I'm not going to buy your game. Because you screwed up last time, and it feels like this game is going to be more of an apology than I'm actually making a good game. So, all I have to do is go on Amazon.com and find Battlefront 2 for the original Xbox for like $20, and that's all there is to it. Like, anything else is going to be a cheap copycat. I mean, I don't know, just there's nothing they could possibly do in this new one that's actually going to impress me, honestly, because Star Wars has really gone down the drain these days. It's over, man. It's been a fun ride. 40 years of Star Wars has been nice, but like, it's over. Like, it will not get better from here. I don't want to be the one to bear bad news, but it will not get better from here. I'm just telling you that right now. The Last Jedi, Luke will probably be killed off. So just expect that. I'm getting a little emotional already just from watching that trailer. Like, yeah, he's a goner. It's another reason why I just really don't want that teaser. This looks really gloomy and depressing, and like, it's partially because of the director they picked for this particular film, but I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna bother with this one at all. I mean, sure, I'm a Star Wars fan. I don't have the patience for this anymore. This movie looks incredibly boring and dull and repetitive. It's not what I really look for in Star Wars. I hold Star Wars to a higher standard than most films. It's because the bar has been reached before. Empire Strikes Back set a bar, or New Hope set a bar. Return of the Jedi set a bar. Force Awakens did not reach that bar. Rogue Zero did not reach that bar. None of them were as good as the original movies. I mean, that's fine. Honestly, it could be better, like that guy said in that clip, that audio clip I showed you guys, or let you listen to. It can be better if they actually make an effort to make it better. I mean, as far as creativity, people always say that Disney has creativity. Yeah, sure, with the cartoon films. But even these days, not so much anymore. Most Disney films aren't as good as the classics like Toy Story or Lion King, you know? Now they're just doing the cartoon versions in live action. I haven't bothered watching the live action Beauty and the Beast, 'cause I know it won't be as good as the original. It's kind of sad because I wanted to see him watching this as Belle, but like everything I'm hearing about that movie is like slap in the face to my childhood. So just gotta ignore that film. So I'm gonna ignore Last Jedi. Or maybe not this one, but I'm gonna ignore Han Solo or whatever they make after this. So yeah. As far as I'm concerned, Star Wars ended after Return of the Jedi. Because 7 is just a big slap in the face. It's like what Jeff said. It's like they're not even making it for fans like me. They're making it for the old people that have been there in the 70s. They're not making it for my generation. And that's the sad part. Because, well, I don't want to say that, but like, yeah. They're not making it for my generation. They're skipping over my generation and just going for either the little kids or the old people that have been there in the 70s. Like, I'm in the middle. So, like, I watch these movies on tape and, you know, Star Wars means a lot to me. It's really sad to see this franchise go down the drain. I feel like I'm grasping onto it for as long as I can. But truth is, I'm done holding on to it. At least the new movies. I'll just stick with the original trilogy and my games, and especially the expanded universe, because I've been collecting a lot of EU books like Honor Among Thieves or Crucible, old school expanded universe books, even some from the Old Republic about Satil Shan's son. Books like that, just to keep myself, satisfied on some kind of level. Because the movies are never going to satisfy me ever again. On any level. Not sure on an emotional level. Because, yeah, they will kill Luke off. And he'll come back in 9 to sit on a log. And talk to Ray about a certain point of view or whatever nonsense they come up with. So they can, hey guys, remember that line from episode 6? Like, yeah, I remember. And I would give it a chance. Just, I don't have the strength for it anymore, man. I don't. I know. I love Clone Wars. I hate Rebels. I hate Rogue Zero. It's like, you know. I watched the video one time. Someone said that Old Republic, Knights of the Old Republic, is better than some stuff in the original movies. And, well, depends on how you look at it. Maybe Return of the Jedi, since that's the weakest of the originals. But as far as character development and story, yeah, I put it up there with the originals, but I could have so far in the past. It does a great job of building that foundation that Mickey Mouse will never do because they can't get past the box that they're in with the original trilogy. They can't get past it. I would say pity them, but I don't, because this is what they deserve. And once they kill off Luke and they realize the mistake they made, it'll be too late. When they killed Solo off, Carrie Fisher's actually gone, and they're trying to use unused footage for episode 9 or something. At first, it's disgusting because she's actually gone, and it's like disturbing. And that's their problem, you know. They want to risk losing fans because they can't let go. Just write it out and leave it alone. And it's not that hard, man. They said they're never going to recreate it digitally, so how is using unused footage not the same thing? It's the same concept. It's all for money at the end of the day, so it's not like they're doing it to preserve her memory. They're doing it because they know putting Leia in the always can get more people in the seats because she's part of the original cast. That's it. Like, there's no creativity going into this. None. Yeah. So hopefully I'll have another video for about Star Wars in the future. But as far as this new stuff goes, Battlefront 2 trailer, man. Not sure if I'm going to bother buying it at all. Like I said, I can just buy the original for the original Xbox that I still own and get way more satisfaction because I'll have everything I already want. Space Battle, the Clone Wars, Galactic Civil War, I have more than just 2 heroes like in the new Battlefront game, which is terrible. I'll have Anakin, Qui-Gon, Ki-Adi-Mundi, Mace Windu, Darth Maul. All those characters I'll have. Space battles, Galactic Conquest, Capture the Flag, you know, simple stuff like that. They don't have any of that in this new one. You know, they got the droid run thing, which is alright, I guess, but most of those modes are pretty crappy. And it's kind of annoying when you're playing on Bespin or whatever and someone playing as Lando or whoever snipes you from halfway across the battlefield. As soon as you come out the door of the building. It's like I shouldn't be getting sniped this far back, man. There are no sniper rifles in Star Wars. Just none that I'm aware of. Maybe the scout troopers have sniper rifles, but most stormtroopers don't walk around with like freaking I don't even know. But like most of them don't walk around with freaking sniper rifles like Call of Duty or something. So yeah, I got this to say to you, Disney. Get creative with your new materials, all right? And what I really want, I wouldn't mind having a cool bounty hunter game where you get to play as an original character, go to different planets and collect bounties and whatnot. I think that would be kind of cool. Will it ever happen? Probably not. Because let's face it, I'm not giving Disney that much credit. I got 2 movies so far, and they're both average at best. Average being Force Awakens, not Rogue Zero. Rogue Zero was below average. That could have been somewhat better too, if they actually tried. Well, yeah. I think I've ranted enough for today. Or, it's not really a rant, but you know. Anyways, so that's it for this episode of Star Wars Discussions. So until next time.